As you can see, we've got a picture of Michael Obama. That's what he really looks like. And as you can see, Gillette, the best a mum can get. A recently classified secret Pentagon document has provided confirmation the US created ISIS. The Pentagon won't deny, and of course the mainstream media is dead silent about the revelation. We knew that all along anyway, but it's nice that others are figuring it out as well. Why did European elites try to destroy the Native American culture? Because Native Americans did not need roads, did not need money, did not need schools, did not need hospitals, did not need technology, so they lived happily without needing to pay taxes and were free from control. Also, the close-knit families and communities and the deep spiritual interconnectedness with nature means that the Native American culture is the antidote to the old world order. These men are not heroes. They are pawns being used in the immoral game of wholesale murder. If you're aware of the real reason Americans goes to war, corporate profits, and the role soldiers play in making such immoral acts possible, the last thing you would label a soldier is a hero. There is nothing heroic about blindly following immoral orders for a paycheck, especially when such orders involve the unnecessary murder of others, usually civilians. The heroin, oxycontin, opiate drug crisis we are in was caused by medical professional doctors and pharmaceutical corporations. This is mandatory vaccination. They lied about Iraq, they lied about Libya, they lied about Syria, and now we need you to look here whilst we start a war with Iran. The Dutch press have just dropped the hottest take on the Brexit deal rejection so far. We were killed because we warned you. 10-year challenge. Iraq, Libya, Yemen, Syria. This is what democracy does to the world. Because really it's demonocracy. These three all murdered by Israel. And the one in the middle there, they ran over with a bulldozer. Treason and sedition. The traitors that signed Britain away into the European Union, you can't trust any politician, they all work for Rothschilds. The Queen, the traitor, has signed 15 of 237 EU international treaties, including amended treaties. Conservatives, 70-74, Treaty of Ascension in 72. Labour, 74-76, first public referendum, June 75. Should Britain stay in the EU in the common market as it was sold to us? Labour 76-79, Conservative 79-90. 1985, the UK ratified Single European Act, the first major revision of the Treaty of Rome, without the public referendum. Conservatives 1997, Treaty of Maastricht. Labour 1997-2007, Treaty of Amsterdam. 1997-2001, Treaty of Maastricht-Nice. Labour 2007-2010, Treaty of Lisbon. Brown the traitor. Conservative 10-16, Conservative 16 to present. PESCO Agreement 2018, 9 EU states including UK sign off all on jointly military intervention force. Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty gives any EU member state the right to quit. However, we don't need a right to quit. We just repeal the 72 Act, which I saw there's a thing doing the rounds in the European Parliament where he's basically stating, repeal the Act and let's just tear up all these bullshit treaties. This Saturday, 19th of January, Trafalgar Square, 12 noon, London. We want you. Advisable not to wear vest until on location. Your country needs you. Be part of the people's movement. Time to take the corrupt establishments once and for all. Let's end this corruption. War criminals at large. It is common misconception that democracies do not start wars of aggression or carry out terrorist attacks. The historical facts for the period of 1945 to today show a completely different reality. Time and again, democratic states in Europe and North America have participated in wars of aggression and terrorist attacks in the past 70 years. There are so many cases that I am not able to list all of them here as examples. I have selected 3 events from different decades. The illegal attack on the European democracies of Britain and France on Egypt in 1956. The terrorist attack by the democracy France on Rainbow Warrior, a ship operated by the environmental organisation Greenpeace in 1985. And the illegal attack by US President Donald Trump on Syria on April 7th, 2017. And it just goes on and on. This again proves that democracies are no more than demonocracies. Because at the end of the day, you've got 51% telling the other 49 what to do. That's not democracy. That's demonocracy. That's a dictatorship under the guise of democracy. Netanyahu must be pissing his pants. Ask the US to help Israel avoid war crime charges because he knows his part in it should result in his execution. Washington, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu asked US lawmakers Wednesday to help fend off Palestinian claims that his country engaged in war crimes while defending itself against attacks from Gaza, one top lawmaker told the Post. The Israeli leader later told international reporters that his country employed extraordinary measures to avoid civilian deaths in the nearly month-long conflict. Bullshit. He's a murdering, traitorous, treasonous, satanic, Luciferian piece of shit. Deselect these shameful Tory MPs. And there's a picture of all the dirty, filthy, scum-sucking traitors to Britain. I'm not going to read the article, you can read it yourself, link will be in description. Lazy detectives sabotage child abuse inquiry, court hears. 2 police officers sabotaged a string of child sex abuse investigations out of a combination of cynical disdain for accusers and laziness, a court has heard. Detective Constable Sharon Patterson, 49, and Lee Pollard, 47, are accused of forging documents and concealing evidence over a 3-year period. This stinks that these 2 pieces of shit are involved in this child abuse, and there's another bit about them later on, so I won't read much more of that. Judge blasts social workers for lying under oath and doctoring a report as part of an attempt to cover up over the future of 5 children taken away from their parents. Original report on parents assessment provided positives and negatives. Judge Mark Horton said there was a deliberate and calculated change. He said changes improved the case for removing children from families. Workers at Hampshire Council want the children to stay in foster care. Social workers lied under oath and doctored a report as part... Right, well that's perjury. They should be in prison for that. But of course they won't, because I'm surprised the judge has even come out and actually told the truth. Now, this is Rotherham. 160 cops involved in Rotherham cover-up. Rotherham sex scandal, more than 160 officers facing claims they ignored victims' pleas. Rotherham abuse scandal investigators are probing more than 160 pigs over allegations they systematically ignored complaints of widespread child sexual abuse. And I strongly suspect that that's because they were involved in the sexual abuse scandal. Remainer Chancellor tells big business MPs will stop clean Brexit in leaked call. Right. Further treason. How much more evidence do we need that these bastards in Parliament are committing treason? Acts of heinous betrayal against us all. There's one for yourself. Chancellor of the Exchequer Philip Remainer Phil Hammond told corporate bosses that senior MPs would stop a no-deal Brexit where Britain makes a clean break from the EU, according to a leaked telephone call. That's absolute treason there and then. Hammond, we need to execute him. There are there are now 100 scientific studies that prove cannabis cures cancer. And what you should take from this is more important. If you've lost anyone, friend, family member, anyone of cancer, bear this in mind. There's 100 studies here proving cancer is destroyed by cannabis. Now, the government and the MPs have known this since the leaked report in 1970s. So they are personally liable and responsible for every cancer death in the UK since the 1970s, up until and including present day. Whether that's friends, family, animals, it doesn't matter. These bastards have known about it and have knowingly hidden cures for cancer because Big Pharma can't make money out of natural remedies like this. The Queen signs official EU withdrawal bill making Brexit irreversible. George Soros' campaign for a second referendum has been derailed. I don't believe this for a second, but we'll read on. Traitor Queen Elizabeth II has signed the official EU withdrawal bill into law, which will make Brexit irreversible and an act of Parliament. The massive blow will completely derail George Soros' campaign for a second referendum. Speaker John Bercow told MPs on Tuesday that the bill has received royal assent from the Queen, allowing the United Kingdom to exit the European Union for good officially. The EU Withdrawal Act enables EU law to be transferred onto British law as a way of ensuring a smooth Brexit. Not if we have any deal that treasonous bitch in Parliament puts through, because she signed everything over to Europe. So even if we leave, they still remain in complete control. Another treasonous bitch that I'm sure there's many willing to build gallows for. The United Nations 2030 Agenda, decoded. It's a blueprint for the global enslavement of humanity under the boot of a corporate master. This is an actual news article. This week, Michael Snyder published an important article entitled The 2030 Agenda. The month the UN launches a blueprint for a new world order with the help of the Pope. That article refers this UN 2030 Agenda document that pushes a blueprint for so-called sustainable development around the world, which is nothing more than the New World Order, global enslavement, one world government. Time to start talking to your friends, and we've got to get this sorted. We're very close. Maybe this Saturday the Yellow Vests in London will do something. Get everyone, take your cameras, phones, everything, film everything. You'll catch the cops being just as filthy and violent as the ones in France. The violence in France is so horrendous. The French people should be arming themselves and shooting the cops. They're that bad. Two lazy detectives deliberately sabotaged child abuse investigations by destroying evidence and forging documents due to a cynical disdain for alleged victims. And there's a picture of the two dirty, filthy bastards that are almost certainly paedophiles as well. British people know politicians are out of touch. Wow, shock. In a new poll done by Comres Polling, the British people overwhelmingly revealed just how out of touch that they believe the politicians really are. Whether on Brexit or the economic struggles of the average citizen, the British people believe that their politicians' heads are in the clouds. 74% of the poll said that Brexit showed that their ruling class is not just in touch with the mood of the country, while 10% said that the ruling class are in touch with the public mood. 72% said the Brexit process demonstrates why the British political system needs a complete overhaul. It needs scrapping permanently. While 75% said the Brexit process has displayed that the current MPs are not up to the task. No, they're completely and utterly useless. Sheikh and Duke rescued from Sandringham car crash. Prince 97 passes routine breath test. Yeah, of course he would. He never bleeding had a breath test. And of course, I doubt he's even got insurance. He won't have a licence. But hey, who are you going to report him to? The police? Good luck with that. He shouldn't even be driving. He's got so many things wrong with him. He's pissed around all the time. And he will have caused this crash. And of course, the people he crashed into, they've got no recourse. He's got no insurance. And of course, immune from prosecution until we take this country back, and there'd be no immunity for any MPs, any royals, anyone, even if they claim diplomatic immunity. No, all gone, because we're taking the country back and you are going to be held to account for all your actions. Nicole Kidman, as you never seen her before, looking like a bloke. That's because her dad was a paedophile, and no doubt she is. Labour torn over Plan B. Corbyn clashes with senior MPs after he asked them to snub May. Hope of early breakthrough dashed as MPs talks descend into bickering. Don't panic. Army reservists placed on standby for no deal. Why? Why? No deal. Oh, well, that makes a load of difference, doesn't it? No, don't. No, actually, it doesn't. Just trying to bring in martial law. That's what that's about. Number 10 mocked for claiming new referendum would take a year to organise. They haven't done what we were voted on the last referendum, which was to leave. So having another referendum just shows you how ridiculous it is. But besides, what apparently said the Queen signing that means that the Act 72 Act is going to be repealed and we're out. So we don't want a deal. If that is true and that repeals the 72 Act, may have to repeal some other articles that the treasonous bastards in Parliament have signed us into. But hey, they've done that, not us, without the consent of us. So therefore, it's null and void anyhow. -11 icy blast hits the UK. Hitachi pulls plug on thousands of jobs, UK jobs. £28 for cauliflower steaks. Crazy vegan prices. Yeah. Express. Prince Philip crash horror. Duke 97 very, very shocked after he dragged from wreckage that he caused, and he shouldn't be driving, but he's immune, of course, isn't he? The Times. Buy, stop Brexit and stay with us. German asks Britain. No chance. Shocked Philip 97 rolls car in road crash. Made to block Burko's peerage. Move to ignore centuries of tradition and snub speaker. Prime Minister angry at appalling behaviour in Commons. Obviously she's not been paying attention to what she's been up to then. Mirror. Prince in smash horror. Philip cheats death. Queen in shock. Yeah, bullshit. He shouldn't be driving, and he was probably pissed out his face. The scum. Brexit traitor Ham blasted. My legs. Philip agony as he's pulled from crash he caused while being pissed out his skull. But of course, the papers, the police, they all work for the Queen, so they're not going to do anything against her, are they? Adam Curtis and Adam McKay on vice politics and power. Corbyn faces threat of revolt if he seeks new referendum. Blocking Brexit is wrong and would break a link with our traditional voters. Long since gone. Minorities in UK face shocking jobs bias. Bullshit. I tell you what, all the major corporations have a strict policy to employ migrants over indigenous the population, and you can see that wherever you go. This plan has been working for a long time, and I'll tell you when it started, shall I? It started about 40-50 years ago. Well, not quite that long, but it started quite many years ago. If you remember, you used to have football teams where it was mainly made up of English. In fact, it was all English, or Jamaicans that have lived here long enough, and that type of thing. And then they started it with the football, the UEFA, where they said, oh yeah, you can have 2 foreign players. Now you can have as many as you want, and that was part of the mass invasion. This has been planned for a long time, and that was part of it, so you get used to it and just accept it as the norm. Everything has been planned 20, 30, 40 years in advance. Arctic arrival. Snow brings the end to a mild January. Yeah, really. Surprised that's not been blamed on Russia. Energy security fears grow as nuclear plant scrapped. Britain's problem isn't with the EU, it's with itself. Is this bloke on some sort of drugs or something? He must be. Wasted paper star. Dell, don't be fools. Vanessa and Wes hug. No romps for Hitler. Ant and Dec reunited. Trouble Star returns to work with Best Bud. Great. So that's why it's a waste of time, that paper. I won't even call it paper. That's giving it too much respect. The tell lie graph. Duke's miracle escape from crash he caused while being pissed out his skull. But of course, nothing's going to happen. May faces revolt against no deal. Ministers threatened to quit PM if PM... No, it's just more bullshit. Oxford told to hold Holocaust survivors to speak out one last time because they know that everyone's seen through it and isn't paying attention to the bullshit anymore. Plans for 16 billion Welsh nuclear dumped. Yeah. Not a great deal of that. Anything but independent. And what a waste and stupid decision this paper's made. Put Frank Spencer in charge of Britain. He'd do a better job than the traitors we've got there. Chris Grayling. Grim prison's legacy. Bernie Sanders may yet be US president. And then the traitorous, treasonous bitch Anna Soubry, why Tory MPs want a final say. Well, you're not having one because you're supposed to be our servants. You're supposed to do what we say, not think you're more important and make your own mind up, you treasonous bitch. Labour MPs defy Corbyn on Brexit talks. May's 10-year plan still not enough to save NHS, social and mental health care unsustainable, says Watchdog. That's because it's been deliberately destroyed by a treasonous government, whether it's Labour, Conservative, Lib Dem, doesn't matter. They're all the same corrupt bunch of puppets for the puppet masters to control. Daily Fail. How did he walk away? Well, because he was so pissed he didn't feel anything. Miracle escape for Prince Philip's 9-7. He's unhurt, but his breath. You see, they're pushing it. It's breathalyzed after his Land Rover flips in high speed smash. 2 injured women in second car taken to hospital. He was pissed, and we know it. But the fact of saying he breathalyzed tells you he was pissed because they know he was pissed, and they're trying to cover up the fact because you or I, well, you're in prison for it. But pedo Phil, no, that don't matter. Metro. Phil flips Land Rover. Shock Duke 9-7 breath test has woman hurting. Yeah, you see, they're just covering it up. He was pissed as a cunt. I guarantee it. And if you look up the word for that, it means something totally different, apparently. How one property developer took on the powerful unions. This is Financial Times. It is unlikely to blame PG&E for the California fires. It's not. He's very likely to blame them. He's Gillette's Me Too, a bristled loyal consumer. Patrons say investor Bogle dies at 89. Energy policy slapped by Hitachi retreat from Welsh nuclear plant. No replacement trade deal already for Brexit deadline, admits Whitehall.